streaming to Facebook, I'm sure about that, so please bear with us. Sorry about all this trouble. George, tell the people some funny stories.
Funny story. Hotel internet sucks.
Yeah, okay.
Well, wait. Hotel internet in the Netherlands, not so great. Hotel internet in Sweden was great.
But we weren't.
But we weren't. We screwed up audio.
Yeah. Anyway, we're here now. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. Sorry for the little hiccup, everybody, getting rolling.
This one, the audio is working. I think we're good on that, right?
Well, we'll find out when the texts come flying in. But,
yeah.
Rudy's here, which is great. Stefan's here.
Awesome.
Danny's here.
Awesome.
All these people, this is great.
This is great.
So we're going to tell you...
Show.
We are in Amsterdam right now because we're at a show called Integrated Systems Europe, which is one of the biggest AV IT shows in the world.
Exactly. So welcome to Live at Epiphan at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock at night. We've been up since like 5 a.m., which is also fun.
Yeah.
I'm watching the chat here, so let us know what you want to hear. I'm hearing we have low audio. We got to speak up, George.
Oh, we got to speak up. Let me see if I can boost it a little bit, but I think it's also the mic gain on the camera. We'll talk a little louder.
Yeah, okay. Cameron says we look great. Andrew Patton's watching, which is great because we saw him today at the show.
Yeah, we saw you this afternoon, Andrew. Yeah. Welcome.
So what we thought we'd do today is just spend a bit of time and talk about some of the things that we've seen at the show.
Yeah. And
let those of you who are not able to come to Amsterdam know about some of the latest in technology, because that's kind of why we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. So talking loud is hard because I've lost my voice 2 days in a row.
Have a sip of your beer; it'll perk you right up.
What we found so far, internet sucks. I'm just going to keep coming back to that. This is very frustrating. You guys may notice some frame drops every now and then. Believe it or not, the best backup internet we could get was tethering to my phone, and even that's not the greatest right now. So,
yeah. Anyway,
is what it is.
We're gonna plow ahead.
Anyway, yes. Everyone who has come to the booth, like Andrew, who's in the chat right now, thank you so much for coming by the booth. It's been fantastic to meet everyone, talk to you about all your various different stuff, and we've had a little bit of time to kind of go through the show and check out some cool stuff.
Yeah, it's a huge show. Like you can't. I have not made it to all corners of the floor. It's at the, is it RAI? R-A-I?
The RAI.
At the RAI in Amsterdam, which is one of the biggest convention centers in the world. And you can walk for miles and miles and miles and still not see all the booths.
All the halls aren't in a row either, right? So they're all kind of disjointed and mixed up, and so it's hard to, there's no straight line.
It is a hornet's nest.
So it's tough.
Yeah.
Unlike a lot of other convention centers where everything's kind of in just blocks. It's a bit different.
This was built one room at a time over 20 years, it felt like.
Yeah, there's a tent in the front. Yeah, it's great. But those halls are filled with cool stuff. Our hall is filled with some interesting stuff. We didn't film too much of that though. But
no, we didn't film too much in our hall, but because we were so busy, it was swamped. There was 1 million people there, which is great. You saw a lot of people at the booth today. Most people that I talked to were coming to talk to us about our Pearl Mini, which seems to be still the product du jour. Yeah. And they wanted to know about our Crestron integration, because recently Crestron built a module to integrate our Pearl products into Crestron systems, which will help a lot of our customers. And
makes it easier to control and things like that, which is great. But then also we were talking about our latest firmware update for the Pearls that integrated with Kaltura as well, which is a content management system.
Yeah. Our theme of the show, integrations.
Integration, yeah.
But some of the other themes of the show, I find this certainly ironic because the biggest thing I've noticed at the show were LEDs and
VR.
Screens. No, not even VR. It was just people showing off cool screens.
LEDs.
LEDs.
I think there's like 3 halls of LEDs.
Filled with LEDs that are, skyscraper height.
Yeah.
And it seems like a technology of 1991, but it's still evolving and getting bigger and better and cooler. So we're going to show you some of the things that we saw walking around the show, and some VR. Yeah. And some other stuff. I see D. Scott's here and Tom Amon from San Francisco. That's great. So if you have any questions about the show, let us know.
Yeah, we'll try. I saw one in there. Was that Danny?
Danny.
NAB big? No, not quite NAB big.
NAB busy.
NAB busy, but not NAB big.
Yeah.
NAB's a massive show. This is a big show. Even IBC, which is like the European version of NAB, which is here in Amsterdam in September, is bigger than ISE. IFC isn't a big show. It's certainly bigger than Infocom, for sure.
Yeah, right.
So that would, and that's the closest type equivalent in North America, and IFC is definitely bigger.
So there's a couple more comments here. We've got Rudy, who we met today at the show. Hi, Rudy.
We did? Did I miss him?
Rudy from Belgium. I got confused.
Yes.
I thought it was Rudy from Switchboard.
Yeah.
Different Rudy. Anyway, It was nice to meet you finally, Rudy,
Yes.
today. We always like it when people who know us from the show, and we see your names in the chat here. It's nice to meet you at these shows, so that's kind of cool.
I'm really bad with names, which makes me bad at the internet because I don't get to see people's faces in the chat. I know faces, not names.
Good luck. Well,
exactly.
I can explain what Rudy looks like if you want.
Alright, you sketch it for me later.
Scott here, D. Scott, is asking to ask some questions during the live chat.
Sure.
By all means, that's what we're here for. So if you have any Epiphan related or, well,
ISE
anything related questions, we will
throw
do
it
our
out
best
there. We'll do our best.
to answer.
Yeah.
So yeah, low audio, we're still getting that report. So we're going to try and make sure we speak up nice and loud
Okay.
and annoy our neighbors.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
Project more.
Why don't we show the people a clip?
Sure.
We took a few videos today walking around the show floor of some of the stuff we thought was interesting, and we're going to do a little, what do you call it when you watch the movie and you commentate over top of it?
Director's
We're going to
commentary.
do some director's commentary of
Well,
ourselves.
let's try this.
Show.
I suspect this clip is actually going to be louder.
We're here at the Sharp booth at ISE 2019, and we were walking around checking out some stuff, and Sharp had some really cool things, including this VR setup behind us, where you can actually go use the VR headset to go into a virtual room and shop for IKEA products. So it's almost like being in one of the IKEA demo rooms in the store, except in VR. You look at different items, it highlights product information, pricing, that sort of thing. So it's a very cool implementation of VR, and they have it there for people to test out. They're also showing a lot of 8K setups and different camera quality things. It's an excellent usage of VR for a commercial setting. It's very fascinating. Obviously save space on showroom. You don't need a giant showroom if you have VR. So thought that was a cool setup. We're going to go see some more things.
So that was a quick clip looking at the Sharp booth, which is actually in the hall next to ours.
Yes.
And they had a little VR setup there that was kind of interesting, and you know.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of a gimmick. You were all over it, which is great.
Well, I mean,
people are still looking for applications for VR. That was one of them.
I mean, it's a virtual showroom. It's a virtual shopping experience for, let's be honest, one of the most annoying shopping experiences in the world, and that's going to IKEA, right? It's a maze.
So you have personal reasons, perhaps.
No, I have personal reasons to not say that. I'm probably going to get in trouble when I get home. But listen, when you're dealing with a big showroom, giant store, maze of stuff, lots of people,
I'm with you.
it's frustrating.
You don't want to have to go.
So what Sharp had there was this setup with VR. You could look around their virtual
Yeah, that's cool.
room and look at all the products and the pricing all like popped out at you. It was pretty interesting.
You know what? I like it all. I'm curious to know when we'll actually see it in a real store, in a real environment. That's when I'm going to go, oh, it's actually here. It's not just this is what you could do with VR, which we've been talking about for the last 30 years.
I actually think maybe the half step to that, we don't have a clip of it, but I think the half step is that Audi thing.
I made a clip.
Did you? Is it in there?
I think so.
I'm not sure it is.
Okay, maybe we did. My computer crashed a few times.
Yeah.
So another clip another showroom experience we went to was this Audi Configurator, where you could, well, you tell them, you did it. I was behind the camera.
So the Audi Configurator was basically a large screen in the back and then a smaller transparent OLED screen in the front with a touchscreen layer on it.
It was Minority Report for car shopping.
Yeah, but
right?
so
Remember?
the OLED panel meant you could move the car around, you could change the background, you could change all the different parts of the car, colors, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the depth, because you were seeing the screen farther away, meant that you were seeing a big screen at the appropriate distance.
Yes.
You weren't sitting too close to it, but you were still getting a grand view. But then you were getting control with the OLED touchscreen, which also had visual elements on it.
Yeah, no, it was neat.
So it was kind of cool.
I'm sure I made that clip. Well, if nothing
We
else,
have it
we'll throw it up on Facebook or YouTube
Yeah.
later or something like that.
Yeah, but it was kind of interesting.
It was kind of interesting. We had another VR experience as well.
We'll do this one. This one, oh boy, look at that. Look at this amateur hour stuff over here.
Is our audio still coming through?
Oh yeah, the audio's fine here.
So this is, every year at trade shows, I like to
Find the bike.
No, I like to see if I still get sick doing VR.
Right. Thanks,
And-
Kenneth.
Yeah. Cheers to Kenneth. But also, I still get sick every year doing VR. So this is me trying to ride a bicycle on VR.
How sick did you get on this one?
20 minutes. 20 minutes
Really?
of like, ooh.
I mean, that beats 3 hours like we had in
You
Sweden.
were a mess in Sweden. That wasn't good. So this wasn't too bad, and it was kind of a neat experience, and it was another shopping-like experience where
Right.
I'm supposed to somehow understand that this is a great bike
Catching diamonds or something.
by catching diamonds in a virtual environment.
Yeah.
So it was hokey.
I didn't know that's how you shopped for diamonds, but
Yeah.
you learn something new at ISE every day.
Exactly.
You shop for diamonds on a VR bike.
Yeah.
But this was kind of interesting because they had everything hooked up to the bike. Like you had to pedal fast to get decent speed, I guess. Yeah. And I guess you were commenting afterwards, the only thing that was weird is that you wanted to lean.
Yeah, you want to lean with a bicycle for every turn, but of course that doesn't make any sense.
Because the bike was fixed, it was mounted, you couldn't move it.
Yeah, you just fall over if you lean. Basically.
Yeah, but the handlebar angle was tracked.
Yes.
So you were turning that way, but of course, that's not how you actually turn a bicycle. You use counter steering and pushing. Yeah. So it's a little weird. But,
it was a little weird. Ghost JB Productions is mentioning that they need higher resolution VR headsets to help combat the motion sickness. And you're totally right.
It's higher refresh is the main thing.
Yeah.
It's the frame rate. Both Georges share a name and a problem with low frame rate imaging.
Yeah. We're sensitive creatures from Canada and can't handle VR like the Swedes.
We like the pure driven snow and high frame rate.
Yeah, but it was fun to get on a bicycle at a trade show.
Yeah, it was a pretty traditional kind of Dutch style bike too. So you see about a bazillion of them out on the street.
Yeah, but usually they have their handlebars like
a little higher,
shoulder height.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But that one was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I just thought, I found it interesting as we were walking through that hall. It's like all of a sudden, here's a bike.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's like, oh, it caught my attention.
And a booth staffed by guys dressed as hipsters. Hey, neat.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a neat demo, although it was not working so well. They had to reboot the system.
Yeah, they had as much technical problems as we had setting up this show.
Right now, we're having them right now.
Yeah. We have, and speaking of the show, we have a comment from, who is it? Danny, asking us what is our room configuration because the lighting looks kind of goofy. He says it looks like 2400 Kelvin lighting with a 3200 Kelvin camera setting.
These are the yellowest lights I've ever seen in a hotel
This
room.
whole hotel room is like
yellow.
brown and orange and yellow, and I have a lamp here, a lamp here, the bed lights are on, there's a little light, a camera light trying to reflect a little bit more blue light on it, but it was completely impossible to get around.
Yeah.
Maybe you would have a better
well, we're dealing with the
in
lamps. We don't have more lights to here.
And they're all orangey.
Yeah.
So.
This hotel room is about 5 or 6 times the size of the one in Sweden where we did our other
Yeah, it's a nice
show.
room.
It's a very big room, and there's lots of lights. The problem is they're all yellow.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Cozy, but not great for video.
No.
So we have another question, if you don't mind me. Awkward transition.
Sure, why not? Awkward transition.
We have a few more.
We'll see. If
Craig is saying VR makes his daughter and I feel sick,
Yeah.
especially Minecraft. We're with you on that.
100%.
Cameron's asking what the frame rate is of the VR headset. I don't know, but I can tell you this, Cameron, it wasn't bad. Like, out of all the VR I've done, this was as good as any I've ever been. So.
But if you look at that screen, that was what you were seeing. That was like kind of more old school, much more blocky. It wasn't like realism stuff.
No. It wasn't textured walls and stuff like that.
So you're able to keep the frame rate up higher much more because there's no
fidelity was a bit lower?
textures.
Yeah, okay.
As soon as you start putting textures in, rendering becomes much more challenging, and that always drives the frame rates down. So they shouldn't have had a problem maintaining at least 60 FPS on that, if not 120 realistically.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll all get up to 120, and we can enjoy it as well.
Right. Whereas when we did it in Sweden, and Kenneth made us ill,
It was 30, right?
I'm not even sure, but that was a racing VR, and so the detail of that racing sim was extreme. And Kenneth stopped by the booth and told us all about his VR racing series that he participates in.
That sounds very cool, yeah.
So they have like 20 racing teams that get together at an event, and
And
it's
they use
endurance racing. Right?
Oh, yeah, so it's
So
like
they
round
have like
clock,
multiple
drivers
that swap out, so it's just like Le Mans, but virtual,
Yeah,
which is kind of
We should go.
interesting. And they use Pearl to live stream it.
we can go and not partake.
Yeah, last one was in France, I think, so let's go.
Oh, awesome. Some more questions. We have, well, first of all, Faithfulness is here. Hello, Faithfulness. And Craig Greg Randall is pointing out that you're lucky it's not a red light, because that was one of the ideas we had with Amsterdam.
A few people suggested the idea of, oh, you're going to do the live show, do it from downtown. And well, that might be the most high budget show ever when all of our gear and ourselves get tossed in the canal.
They don't like
Let's not. No, cameras in the red district are not really
sanctioned.
No, that's not a thing you do. It doesn't go over well.
I still wanted to try it, but you know.
It's also super windy outside, and the audio would have been.
It's pretty cozy.
It's also pouring rain, so there's a lot of reasons we're not outside, and it also being 9 o'clock at night, it's kind of cold.
Yeah. We have Scott asking a technical question about his webcaster. So, is Webcaster X2 capable of zoom in and zoom out when I use my Logitech 310 camera and USB?
No, we don't map those controls over UVC at the moment. It's one of the reasons why that webcam feature is considered beta, is there's some UVC standard controls like pan tilt zoom that are not currently supported.
Yeah, right.
So, unfortunately, no.
Yeah. Okay. Let's watch some more.
Sure. What was the next one?
ISE stuff.
I think I had. Oh yes. So we went down the rabbit hole.
So this is part of this. We have a little montage here.
Whatever happens. Wow. When dies.
Just walls of images. Completely transparent walls that obviously light up with
These were the roll-up LG TVs.
Yeah, this is your next living room television.
I like seriously on the wall for this.
So it's rolling up from underneath. Imagine like a Venetian roller line.
So it looks like a giant sound bar, but it just contains the whole TV. So it's almost like going back to the old school furniture TVs.
Yeah.
There's this crazy.
This is just another example of people using displays and mapping them to these crazy curved surfaces.
This was also
That was at LG.
Yeah. And then this was, I don't know what this was.
More random LED spinning shit that was just everywhere.
Oh, this was in the dome?
Yeah, this was an outdoor dome.
Planetarium
probably,
style.
yeah, maybe like
dome.
50 feet across, and the entire ceiling is illuminated with images.
Yeah,
so now we've looped back to the beginning here, so you can kill
but
this.
that was, the dome was interesting partially because, well, one, it was hot in there. It's outside, but they were piping in a heater. It was hot.
It was hot.
But the other thing was that it kind of smelled like a rubber raft.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
But the projection stuff was cool. It looked really good. The projection, like the stitching, like sometimes when you're, because there's like what, 6 projectors or 8 projectors in there, something like that. Sometimes the overlap and the stitching just doesn't work very well, but that one worked really, really well. I was pretty impressed.
This is great. We've got lots of people asking questions. Danny is saying, yeah, you sip your beer. I'm building a studio in a log home, Planet Brown. I don't know what Planet Brown means. Curious to know, but maybe that's just your hashtag.
I think he's making fun of our lighting and our log home from the Christmas episodes.
Oh, geez, 2 inside jokes wrapped up in one.
Yeah.
That's deep. Cameron's asking how we're set up for the streaming today, and yes, it's OBS.
Cameron, it's a disaster.
And no, it's going okay now. I think people are happy. They're watching, leaving comments. Stop. So
I'm not happy with it.
Yeah, we have a capture card and OBS because this is our. When we come on these trips, we don't really want to plan to bring another streaming kit just for our hotel streams. So
well, the funny thing is that I would have gladly grabbed a Pearl Mini from the booth and brought it and used it for this. Except there's no Ethernet in these hotel rooms.
Oh yeah. All hotel rooms are like that now.
How am I supposed to live stream?
Sorry. We'll make a complaint. That's usually a complaint.
I'm going to complain.
Some of us are trying to make video content in our rooms. Thank you very much.
Some of us are trying to. Yeah.
And there's a certain industry who really requires Ethernet.
During ISE, you should have Ethernet in every room. Sometimes you at least see a jack, right? There's nothing.
No.
So.
But at least we brought the plugs to plug into the European outlets.
Right. But despite what our speed tests tell us, the Wi-Fi's not giving us what we need. We're getting a ton of frame. We're still getting frame drops anyways, but less than we were.
Hopefully it looks okay. We did have another question about that LED thing.
Sure. Which one?
Well, yeah, that thing. Oh yeah, Danny's asking, are they curved screens or flexible LEDs? The answer is yes and
So
curved screens.
the roll-up one is flexible to a degree. It's like individual little slats with a flexible membrane.
But the LED itself is not a flexible
No, I
component.
don't think so.
It'd be some kind of
They're just really
matte.
tiny. They're just really tiny.
that itself. Is
Honestly, the
flexible.
resolution on those roll-up ones, because we saw stuff like that a couple years ago.
It's all janky.
Yeah, these ones are beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, I would, legitimately, I usually go to these shows and see the TV stuff and be like, I don't care. I see no value in having that in my house. I looked at those roll-up ones, I'm like, I want that.
Save your money.
Yeah.
Wait 10 years. You know, it's going to be. I don't necessarily want a TV that has to roll up mechanically up and down all the time.
I watch so little TV when I'm not using it. I want it to go away.
Yeah, that's true. But I want it to come back up when I want it and not go.
Nah, it's fine. It's LG. The
Um,
other ones were curved displays. They weren't flexible. The big wall, that was just curved. They weren't flexible.
Yeah, we're getting some complaints. Apparently, RIP headphone users from Ghost. So apparently, we blew some people out of the water with our recent audio on our thing. So
we only had one.
this is the fun of OBS and people who don't really know how to use OBS really well.
No,
live streaming.
no.
It's true. This is our second show on OBS, and we've had many great issues both times. No defense.
No, it's actually the camera operator who kept the mic gain too low, so we didn't even it out.
Okay, we're getting at each other's throats here.
Yeah, we are.
Ghost Productions is asking about recommendations of a high-quality camera for live streaming, like Panasonic AGCX350 or something like a Zcam E2.
I don't know either of those.
I don't know either of them, but it sounds like Ghost. Maybe you can make recommendations for live streaming cameras.
Generally, we would say, first you have to decide how you want to live stream.
What do you mean by that?
Well, are you using a webcaster? Are you using a capture card? Are you using a Pearl?
But why does
Are
that
you
matter
using
for your camera?
A system other than Epiphan? Well, then you need to decide, well, if it's an SDI-based camera, you're going to want an SDI capture system of some kind.
Sure.
If it's HDMI, obviously. So, generally speaking, if we're talking about webcaster, a lot of our customers have given us feedback, and probably a bunch of these guys are in the chat right now, who have said that one of their favorites is the Panasonic G7 or G85, which is a slightly newer version of it.
The Panasonic Camcorders in general, right?
Yeah. Well, those are their micro four thirds, kind of DSLR, kind of hybrid, mirrorless. But there's another point, right? Mirrorless is important. Either handycam, traditional style, or mirrorless.
We're using a Sony A6300 for this stream today. And although the color doesn't look great today because of our lighting, as mentioned,
It's a great camera.
these little mirrorless cameras are extraordinary. If you really care about your image, they're a lot more finicky because you have interchangeable lenses, and they're more suited for manual operation than they are for an automatic operation like a camcorder.
But the 6300, the body is compact enough that it's not bad to transport around mobile.
Yeah, you have batteries to deal with again. You got to get a power source for these things.
That's my biggest complaint with the 6300.
But we've kind of solved that.
I know, but it should have come with that.
Yeah, there were some issues where it would overheat when we first got it, and it would shut off.
And it only comes with a battery and a charging method that doesn't keep the battery full.
They were not really considering our needs.
No.
Sony, come on.
No, come on, Sony. We're going to go to the booth tomorrow and complain.
Stefan's asking OBS on a laptop or a Mac?
On a laptop.
Yeah.
Normally...
And he spells Mac with an umlaut on top.
Yeah, perfect. Normally my Windows 10 laptop does not have an issue. What we're running into is connectivity issues with the internet causing a lot of frame drops. So, apologize.
Yeah. So, have we got any other videos to show?
We do. We have one more. We'll... We'll just do that.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, rip headphones.
Yeah.
I don't know where you found this. That looks like something out of like N64 graphics.
It's cool though.
Like, really, I don't...
It's people taking LED technology and going, how can we make something crazy for a trade show? And so this is what they came up with.
I guess.
I like it.
Obviously you filmed it.
Yeah, it's totally useless, I think, but it's cool. There was all these kinds of people using LEDs on floors and walls.
The
and
interactive
panels
floors
all
are kind of cool.
And because they map from one LED to the next, right?
Yeah.
So that's where it gets kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I
don't know about
Okay.
I'm not sure about that.
So that's our run of cool LED stuff at the ISE show. In terms of other technology that we saw at the show, you got anything up your sleeve?
I mean, a quarter of one hall is Crestron.
Yeah, actually the whole, what they call UCC, ICC, UCC?
Yeah, something like that.
Unified
Well, that's
Communications.
where we are.
Yeah, but just all of that meeting room technology stuff was massive.
Yeah, there's a ton of
Logitech was right beside us. They were packed all the time because they had a
a bunch of new integrations with Google and Zoom
and Skype. So people trying to do
Skype,
like meeting and business solutions with
Cisco
video.
was right around the corner, life sizes around the corner,
Yeah.
everybody.
That stuff was exploding all over the place.
Absolutely.
But in terms of like sort of consumer tech or tech that might apply to
Well, there is a
individual,
consumer tech area, a residential area, but I think that's just home automation.
I think it's home automation.
And it's way on
This
the
show
other
is a
side.
little bit more geared towards business,
Yeah.
or a lot more geared towards business. So it's not really about cool new cameras. Like there's a Canon exhibit there, for example, and they don't have cameras.
No.
They're just talking about their projectors.
Projectors.
So, we'll have more to share with you at NAB show. In fact,
Yeah.
it'll be Cameron who will be sharing that, because Cameron's our local camera buff, and he and some others will be going down there, and we'll come back and tell you the whiz-bang of the camera world.
Yeah, the camera world there is a little different.
Yeah.
You can, anything to mount a camera on and the cameras themselves, that's all an NAB kind of deal. But I mean, so far this show's been good. I would say I feel like there's really nothing all that new, which is kind of disappointing in a way. There wasn't one thing that just has been totally blown me away because I've never seen it before.
Yeah, that's fair.
So.
We have lots of people commenting. This is great.
Sure.
So Rudy's talking about how the Crestron booth was huge.
Yeah.
And they were serving beer upstairs, which was really nice.
Mhm.
Boy, it seems like every other booth was serving alcohol and food.
5 o'clock, booze.
Not even 5 o'clock.
That's
We
true.
were there like 11 or something.
That's true, yeah.
So this place is rolling with free beer.
Too bad
if
it's
that's
all
your
Heineken.
bag.
So if you're
Welcome
not
to
in-
Amsterdam.
If you're not into Heineken,
Go home.
yeah, basically.
Yeah. Charles Haney, forgive me if I've got your name incorrect, is saying, we have Blackmagic Studio 4K cameras. Nice cameras. We don't stream yet, so I'm looking for the right streaming platform. Do you know how well Pearl would work? So I'm guessing Blackmagic Studio 4K
Cinemas,
cameras
yeah.
and Pearl, and it would be perfect.
Yeah, it shouldn't be an issue. So the Pearl 2 can do 4K if you're looking for a standalone encoder. The AVIO 4K could bring it into a computer, but that encoding 4K on a computer there's not a lot of software that does it properly. Unfortunately, OBS is, despite its drawbacks, is one of the few that seems to do a better job of 4K encoding in software. vMix would be the next choice.
Yeah.
Wirecast, some of the others just do a terrible job.
If you're
of
buying a
4K.
new cinema camera, you shouldn't have a trouble with really any streaming equipment, because
As long as it supports 4K, if
it's
you want to stream
issues
it,
that
4K.
the cameras that are going to cause you like a challenge in terms of a conflict will be older cameras that have interlaced signals or unusual resolutions, that kind of thing. But any kind of modern cinema camera like a Blackmagic 4K will work wonderfully with Pearl or any other streaming hardware. So you're laughing.
But if you do want to stream in full 4K, that does limit some of the options and definitely narrows even the platforms you can stream to.
The whole ecosystem of 4K is a bit of a
And
more challenging than just doing HD. For
You
sure.
need fat bandwidth. Like,
How many apps was that?
but it's, I mean, so we always say that you should take your bit rate, multiply by at least 1.5 or maybe by 2 in order to support that bit rate if you can get that consistently.
Yes.
Right? To get 4K to look good coming out of a Blackmagic Cinema live streamed, you're probably looking at least 25 to 30 megabit for your bit rate.
Yeah, we do 25 for our studio shows.
So if you're talking about that multiplication, you're talking about ideally 50 meg stable up, no interference, no drops, rock solid.
No problem.
You're not getting that on a hotel Wi-Fi.
That's what our speed test said, despite our results.
No, it didn't. Anyway, yeah.
Okay, what else we got to talk about?
I don't know. Any more questions in there? I see a lot of links flying out there.
Yeah, well, the Epiphan people are sharing the Epiphan people. You know those Epiphan people?
Those Epiphan guys.
Yeah,
I know them.
I love those guys.
I was at their booth
They're
today.
awesome.
Yeah, I was chatting with them.
They're having a contest.
They are?
Yeah, they're trying to send somebody to NAB or IBC. So we've been running this contest for a while, so I won't tell you too much about it, but if you want a chance to go,
links are in the chat.
Links are in the chat. Yeah.
It is a great opportunity, guys, seriously. NAB is a fantastic show. If you're in North America, that's probably the one you want to go to. If you're in Europe, IBC is probably the one you want to go to. Both are fantastic shows, and you know, it's a super cool experience. Don't get me wrong, trade shows are exhausting, even as an attendee. But
really? I've never been as an attendee, so I can't speak to that.
There's still so much cool stuff to see, and you know, you get to hang out with us.
Yeah, you get to meet a lot of cool people. Besides us. Okay, I think that's good. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm really tired.
Yeah.
I don't know what time it is in Canada.
3:30.
I'm ready for my afternoon nap.
Yeah. We have those?
Well, on weekends sometimes.
Okay. Well, I think that's going to cover it for today. As usual with these late night European live at Epiphan shows, we're a little bit punchy.
Yeah.
But thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks for interacting in the chat. Really appreciate it. Apologies for any rough edges on this stream. Doing what we can.
We're doing what we can. Adam Peel was watching from Facebook. Hi, Adam.
Awesome. Hi, Adam.
And we'll be back here next week. Not here.
Not here. We'll be home.
We'll be home.
We'll be home.
Yeah, so we'll see you in a week.
Perfect.
Okay. Shut her down, George.
Oh, shut her down. Okay.
Yeah. You know how to do that on there?
Somewhere I have a thing to do that.
Yeah. Do I have to shut it down on YouTube?
You could, but I can stop it here.
Okay.
Somehow.